Hello and welcome to another edition of SAFC Fan TV Extra Time. So joining me on the stream tonight, or on the podcast tonight, we've got Mike. Hello, Mike. How are you doing? How's your weekend been? I'm guessing being a Sunderland fan and being in Dreamland, have we?
Yeah, well, it was nice to have a weekend off after Friday night delights. Don't have to worry about anyone else's results over the weekend, which was good.
Right, that's the thing, isn't it? Once it's always good when you win on a Friday night, but when you lose, you're always looking over your shoulder. But thankfully, we kind of had a decent Friday night, didn't we? Apart from after the game. But did you see the game? I'm guessing you did.
I did see the game. Can I just mention before we get into the game, I'm loving the new countdown intro. It was very early 90s. I felt it's flashback to childhood cartoons for a moment.
Very rock star.
Yeah.
Me and Conrad ages to put together. Right, very, very good. So Sheffield Wednesday, Mike. I mean, we couldn't have really asked for anything better, could we? It was a fantastic performance.
Yeah, I love the fact that Mowbray's interview beforehand was saying, "Oh, it was a one-off. The result before. We'll get back to scoring. Blah blah blah. Bang, straight away." And how it started so quick, I thought it was going to be 5-6, 7-0. So,
well, that was it. Well, we started off. I mean, I think the first 2 or 3 minutes they had tried the best to try and put us under pressure, but once we went down and got that free kick, then we got the corner. And Ballard, I don't know what that defender was thinking of, that Bambo Diaby. He had an absolute nightmare game. I think he lost Ballard for the first goal, then he gave a penalty away, then he got concussion, then he got booked, then he got concussion. He just had an absolute nightmare. But I mean, then away games when you're against a team that's struggling like that, an early goal is what you want in it. It's
yeah, they've not had a great string of results, have they? But it looked like a different class. We could have been playing in the FA Cup and playing a Tier 6 team by the look of it. It just looked like we were all over them, especially the first half.
They look like a team in disarray. Watching them, it kind of reminds me of us a few years ago when we went straight to the leagues, got relegated from the Premier League. Then in the Championship was that type of performance, and you fear for them, didn't you? That if they don't sort it out straight away, then I do fear for their safety. Like,
if there's any Sheffield Wednesday fans watching, you can take a positive that even 3-0 down, you didn't then go gun-ho, so we kept getting in behind. You defended really well after that. They held discipline well, I thought, to keep it.
Once it got to 3, I was expecting us going on to get 5 and 6. But like you say, to be fair, they sat in and they did defend quite well after that. But they didn't really create anything, did they? They look a poor side, and you can just sense that the atmosphere around the place is terrible. Like I said, it's similar to what we were 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I feel for them. This chairman is they just need the chairman out, and I think the manager, they're not happy with the manager either. So, but
there's always a long list of people to blame, though, isn't there, when you're in that state?
From a selfish point of view, it was ideal time to play them on it. We went there and just took full advantage. But yet again, Jack Clark, fantastic, wasn't he? He just absolutely torturing people at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. The switch, though, I mean, Jack Clark's brilliant, no problem. But how has he had that much space? How does a player, if you're Sheffield Wednesday and a player of that caliber is coming up against you, how have you give him that much space?
Freedom of Sheffield. But I mean, Mason Burstow again looking so much better. I mean, he was the one who sprayed the ball out to Clark for the first goal. Great vision, for a young lad. And I think in the late first half as well, he was the one who sprayed the ball to the right hand side when Roberts, that one touch control. So
yeah, he looked to gain confidence through the game himself, and he had a bit of a run and a shot on goal himself. And I think that's all he needs. He needs that confidence. Give a bit of freedom, and because we've seen he's got the burst of pace and he's got the shot on him. It's just stringing it all together and having that confidence to go for it.
That's it. I'd love to see him get a goal on Wednesday. I think it'll just cap his week off, and like you say, he seems to be growing in confidence, and he looks like he's fitting in with how we're playing now. He really, really does. But what's your thoughts on Sheffield? It's a shame for to see a big club struggling in it. You know,
Yeah, it happens all too often to quite a few clubs. They all go through phases like this, but they're not doing. I mean, are they dead last? Yeah, they're dead last now. Aren't
yeah, they haven't won a game. They've only
few draws out. Yeah, but yeah, it's dire, but it is still very early in the season. They're not miles behind QPR, Middlesbrough, and all that lot. So maybe if they do have a change of management, I'm not sure if they'll be able to change the chairman and the actual owners at this stage. But if they do change the manager, maybe they get something out of it. But they look like they had nothing going forward.
No,
So,
yeah,
we know anything can change through a season. They could have a really good January transfer window, get a couple of really good loanees in. You never know; things could change around.
like I say, it reminds me of Ellis Short. I think their chairman turned around on the day of the game and said he wasn't putting no more money in the club. Just cries of Ellis Short all over again. But
Yeah,
fingers crossed to get out of it. You know, I've now got a lot of time for Sheffield Wednesday, obviously because of what's happened after the game. You know, I was seeing them two idiot fans absolutely sick who were mocking Bradley Lowry. You know, and thankfully they've getting what's come to them. But what's your thoughts on that, Mike? Sick one, absolutely sick.
yeah, it's just pathetic. It's that's beyond having a fight after the football and the old yob days. That's just literally no morals whatsoever. I don't know. I've not seen what's happening to them themselves. Obviously, I know about the GoFundMe and that they've raised a load of money, the fans themselves, as an apology.
So what happened was after the game, the women from Sheffield Wednesday women, there's a lady called Leanne Wood set up a GoFundMe page to raise money for the Bradley Lowry Foundation, and I think that set a target of something like 5,000. And as of about an hour ago, they'd raised 20 grand, which is an absolutely fantastic achievement. Like, so fair play to them. And even after the game, their fans were trying to identify who these two were to try and out them and get the names to the police. The police were searching for them. Since then, they've both been arrested. One of them's been charged with a public order offence.
Right.
I'm not too sure what's happened with the other one, but you know, it looks like justice has been served. But hopefully they'll get banned from every ground in the country. But you know, fair play to the Sheffield Wednesday fans.
That I first saw the picture on Twitter and I was just scanning past, and I honestly thought it was. I thought it was a Photoshop because I didn't think anyone could be that callous. You know, I just thought that can't be real when I first saw it.
Well, that's the thing. There's a few people thought, but then the police did actually confirm that there were actually proper pictures, and it was just sickening, absolutely sickening. But like you say, they're getting what's coming. They've been arrested, and the Bradley Lowry Foundation's getting a lot of money out of it. So some good has come out of it.
Yeah.
So, like I say, a fair play. I've got a lot of time for the Sheffield fans from now. You know, I think that's. I know we don't play them again now till the last game of the season, but I hope they do get out of trouble. And you know,
it does show you with things like that, it's the minority, because how the other fans have pulled together for this foundation. They don't have to do that. There's no obligation to do that, but it shows that it's the minority.
And I think also from what I've seen on social media and across my channel as well, there's been fans from Doncaster, Leeds, Sheffield United, Manchester United, even Newcastle, you know, standing together and you know, making a stand against that. So, you know, fair play. It just shows you that this type of thing's bigger than football, which it is.
Yeah.
Which it is. So fair play to everybody. But who was your man of the match on Wednesday?
It would have to be Jack Clark, to be fair. Everyone did quite well. I liked Pritchard and that, but yeah, Jack Clark had to get man of the match for me for the performance he put in.
I think Jack Clark would always going to get it, but for me, Dan Neil. I think Dan Neil is getting better and better with every game this season.
Yeah,
he looks more composed, and every time he gets the ball, he looks to play a forward pass, and the way he wriggles out of trouble, I think it's great. I just think this season he's just stepped up to the plate, and he's been our main man in that midfield, and more so in the absence of Ekwar as well.
Yeah, well, I said last week as well, Huggins stepped up last week and did really well, and he's again he was on for, as far as I'm concerned, he's showing so much promise. He's looking very. I love the idea of Jack Clark and Huggins, and the fact that Huggins is making them runs and overlapping. All I can have is flashbacks of Gray and Arca, and that combination on the side, which absolutely worked a treat so many times.
Yeah, I think if we can get that sort of combination going again, I mean, them days of great and Arca, that was fantastic football. I wanted during them days.
Yeah, and we know Clark can drop in and defend when he needs to, so that can very well work. We just need to, get Huggins practicing shooting with both feet.
I think he's only got one foot, and he's always going to come back on his right.
Yeah.
But we also saw, Russian came on again. We saw a little bit more of Chris Rigg as well, and El Sheikh as well, French Dave, as we call him. What was your thoughts on them? Again, not really, didn't see much of them, but Russian looked half decent, I thought.
Yeah, Russin didn't see much of Rigg. Maybe just didn't get the opportunity, as it were. But yeah, when I saw them both coming on, the Russin and Rigg, I thought that just sounds like a future winning combination. That's like the 2024 highest scoring pair. So you never.
Rushin and Rigg.
Yeah, but yeah, he came on again and he looks hungry. That's what I like about him. Him and French Dave both look really hungry, want to be on the ball, making the runs, making things happen. They don't look like players that are happy to sit it in the corner for the last 5 minutes or time waste. They want to get at the game.
Yeah, which is great to see. And which I think moving forward, I mean, I think Tony Mowbray said after the game on Friday that there'll be certain games where we do play two up front. And I think that'll be exciting to see. And I think it'll be good to try and change things up a little bit at certain times. And why not play two up front?
Yeah. I mean, you possibly had that because how far Job gets up the pitch. So it kind of left Pritchard with Job and Burstow up front. So that change is not an extreme change to do, I don't think. It's who do you drop? Our midfield's doing so well and looks so good recently. It's who do you drop, or do you drop it to a 3? It's so hard to put another striker on because I don't know which player you'd drop out.
Do you think that's why we're playing so well? Because at this moment, we've got that many. There's now players on the bench who can come on and pushing for the players for the first team. That's why the likes of Jack Clark and Dan Neil and all these are all suddenly playing out the skin to keep the team.
Well, look at Pritchard. I didn't think he played as well this game because he started. But when he's come on and he's been fighting for his place, look at the performances he's put in. And all the other players have to take from that. He is one of the older players. He's one of the influential players of the dressing room, as it were. So hopefully they all take heed from that and do the same thing.
Fingers crossed. But I think it's great to see now we've got them options coming off the bench. And also Seat as well coming on for the last 5 minutes. It was nice to see him get on the pitch, and that was only for 10 minutes, but he's still got some minutes under his belt. But I've got a question for you. So in January, do we lose Jack Clark?
Do I want to? Definitely not. Does it happen? Only if the club's got anything about them, only if a ridiculous offer comes in. That's the only way. You couldn't say no if somebody came in with 30, 40 million for Jack Clark. They're never going to say no, Sunderland, the way they are. Because that can fund half a team, so only with a big offer. If we let him go for something like 10, 15 million, I think fans would be in uproar, genuinely.
100%. I think it's going to be tough if he keeps on playing the way he's playing. I think come January there will be some bigger bids. And our Tony Mowbray said after the game on Friday that they had some bids in January in the summer, which didn't meet our valuation. But it's a catch-22 because we're having a successful season, but he's putting himself in the shop window for a bigger side. I mean, if let's say we're second or third in the league, and it's somebody like Burnley that comes in for him, who are probably going to be in the bottom 3, he's then got a tough choice to make. Does he stay with us and get promoted with us, or look like getting promoted with us, or does he go to the Premier League with a chance of coming straight back down?
Listen, when this was rumoured in the first place, because it was Burnley that was rumoured in the first place, wasn't it? Right. So I live in Burnley. That's where I am now. I'm quite happy to write to Jack Clark, send him pictures and show him how lovely Burnley is. Yeah. And I'm sure he'll stay at Sunderland.
But again, we know money talks, and like you say, if they come in with a big bid and they're offering him silly wages, but surely if it's down to him, you would think he would want to stay, wouldn't you?
I'm not sure Burnley has silly wages to offer. They might be able to put a decent sized bid in, but I don't think they'd be able to tempt him enough. I should think the way the club's going, and especially if it depends where we are at that time. we continue the way we are and we're up second, first place, and we look like most likely or potential automatic promotion spots, does Jack Clark want to be in the Premier League with the lads that he took there, or does he want to join a team that's fighting relegation?
Yeah. And I think 100% he stays with us. I'd like to think he would stay with us. And, the rumours that he wasn't enjoying his football, watching him on Friday night is not a player who's not enjoying his football. He's absolutely loving it.
Again, every game I've seen him in since that, he's looked happy as Larry.
Did you see the goal celebration?
The EM, was it?
Aye, there was that one, but just before there was like a hop and a skip, and then as though he was throwing a basketball. I'm just wondering if you know what it was for, because I've been trying to find out what it was, but I kind of find out it was some kind of.
The commentators said it might be the training ground, but I'm loving these interesting celebrations. What was the one the other day where they were in a canoe, weren't they?
So I don't know. There must be something. There must be practicing doing TikTok videos or something. That's what I can think of.
Well, yeah, I think we need to chase up on their social medias to see if we get an explanation on this.
Find out. But just before we move on, Anthony Patterson, just wanted to have a little bit of a talk on him. I thought at certain points during the game on Friday, he looked a little bit lax. He's kicking, still leaving a little bit to be desired. And do you think that's because we haven't got a good second choice goalkeeper to push him? He's guaranteed number one. He might be just not. I'm not saying gone through the motions, but them kind of mistakes what he made on Friday could get punished against a bigger side.
Yeah, it's a weird arrangement because obviously we've got Bishop, right, as the main second at the moment, and I'm not saying he's a bad keeper. He's come from United, right?
Yeah.
So there must be a lot of potential there. Otherwise, he wouldn't be at United in the first place. So we don't know what he's like. We don't know what the competition is, but it feels like we're missing a really experienced goalkeeper to keep him on his toes. You know what I mean? I wouldn't begrudge signing a 34-year-old, 35-year-old goalkeeper in the transfer window as a good, solid backup.
Which is, I think that's what we needed, and I never understood why we loaned Bass out to then replace him with similar type, rather than get somebody experienced and who he's going to learn off. Because at the minute, apart from the goalkeeping coaches, who's he got to learn off? Nobody for me. But I mean, didn't get us wrong. He still made 2 cracking saves in the game, but I just at times his kicking looks a little bit, not shocking, but a lot to be desired.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have Tony Corton, didn't we? He's at Man United now. I was just double checking that. I was going to say he was a scout, but he'd be a great goalkeeper coach.
He might have been at one point. I don't know if it was for us, but I think he will have been a coach somewhere. But he was at Sunderland. It's at some point he was.
He's only 62. We could sign him as a backup.
Oh, yeah, he might still get a game. No, not in our team. He wouldn't, would he? Dear me.
Yeah. Well, it's Mowbray and his youngsters. We know that he likes younger players and stuff like that, and he develops really good younger players, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, we're definitely missing some sort of experience there. No disrespect to the coaching staff at Sunderland. They might be really good. That look what they've produced: Pickford, Patterson. So they're obviously good at their jobs, but we don't want him sat back getting content. Yeah.
To take him to that next level, I just think he needs to have that experienced keeper pushing him. I think when Pickford was when Pickford was here, was Manonia the one who was like the experienced goalkeeper at the time pushing him? I'm sure Manonia I think when Manonia left, then Pickford kind of stepped in.
Yeah. I like Maloney he was a good keeper as well. So we've always had that level where we've got a keeper that's ready to go off to be signed by a Premier League club, and we've got a young up and comer coming in. So it's we've been left with just the young up and comers.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but as long as he keeps on producing the goods, then fair play to him, and we'll keep doing what he's doing. But on to Watford, and so we're looking to try and get our home form back on track. Now I know there's a lot being made of the home form. I know we've only played, how many games is it? 3 games at home or something so far. We've lost 2 and won 1. So Watford, a team near the bottom, another one. Are they going to come here and sit similar to Cardiff?
I don't. This is a really difficult one for me to do any sort of prediction on, because last 2 games with Watford, both draws. Both scoring draws, so 2-2, I believe, on both of them. But I was looking before, and it's one of those things I wish I hadn't read out loud in my head, because you know what's going to happen. And it says Watford remain winless in 12 away league games, their longest such run since May 2018. We are the team that will break that for them, no doubt.
Yeah, upset Sunderland, yes, just play us, we'll oblige, which is not the case.
I'd like to think the form we're in, we can only get better if Echo and that come back. That's the situation we're at. But we're not riddled with injury like we have been in the past. Even with, like, I think Dak and Echo both coming back at some point, maybe back for this one. I'm not sure. I've not actually looked.
You'll be hoping Dak's out for the season, are you?
I've given him a chance. He can grow on me. He can grow on me. Yeah, I actually looked him up on Football Manager, and I wasn't signing him. That was terrible.
Not on FIFA.
So, but yeah, so I think we can only get better. So, as long as we continue that momentum, and it looks like the lads have got a really good dressing room, morale looks high. Even Cardiff, it was just, even though we lost that game, we were bombarding them, we were attacking, we were playing positive, and seeing Sunderland playing positive attacking football is the best thing in the last 10 years.
I think if I was the Watford manager, I'll have watched how Cardiff played. I mean, if the Watford manager's got his own ideas and he comes here and tries to get a win and goes for it, that just plays into our hands, doesn't it? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just got my fears that it's going to be a similar type of game. If we get an early goal, different story. But the longer the game goes on, then I think we'll probably need to make substitutions a lot earlier and maybe change the formation earlier.
Yeah, I was just looking. I was looking there because they got a win, didn't they, Watford? But it was Birmingham. Birmingham.
The
But they were down to 10 men.
The big QPR first game of the season, 4-0.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah.
They win a 4-0 at half time. Then they beat 10 men Birmingham, and then that's only 2 wins they've had.
Yeah,
they've only won 1 game in 9 or something. Like you say, that we're the team who will break records.
They can score though. That's the worrying thing. Their draws have been 3-3, 2-2. You know, even when they lost to Middlesbrough, they scored 2. So
I think the record, I think they've scored 13 and conceded 13 or something along those lines. So
wow.
The goal difference is 0. So like you say, that they have got goals in them, and if they can get right to the back, they're going to be a dangerous side.
Yeah. We need to. Mowbray needs to recognise if they're playing like Cardiff in the first 45 minutes. That's the thing. I know we spoke about it on a previous one, saying, "Oh, but if he had changed stuff at halftime, it could have been worse," and blah blah blah, and all this. And as a manager, obviously, he's going to worry. But now he's seen that gameplay. If he sees them playing exactly the same game, he has to make changes by halftime. He can't wait till the 70th, 80th minute.
I don't know. Or if they score first, I don't need to change things up. But what's your thought? I mean, I don't know how far back you can remember Watford of the days of Elton John. What's your thoughts on Watford and of Graham Taylor days and them type of Watford days?
Yeah, it's weird, Watford, because they've always been one of those clubs that's like, you don't think of them as a top team, but they've been up there in the Premier League. They've played the best of them. They've done that, but it's very unusual. They've never wowed me in any of the games. But it's if you said to me off the cuff, "Oh, such a body's playing Watford," I'd have to look up what form Watford are in. And literally, it just goes off me.
You're a team that just like from our perspective, nobody just kind of checks up on and looks out how they're doing, like a big team, like you say. But
yeah, they feel like constant underdog story, which I know they were when they went up to the Premier League and stuff. But did they stay there for 2 seasons, or was it just the 1 season?
I think they were there for 2 or 3 years. But
yeah,
I was doing a bit of research before we came on here tonight, and here's a stat for you, right? So since the year 2000, have a guess how many managers they've had?
Oh, including the Premier League. Year 2000. No, I'll go 23, 1 a year.
Close, 28.
28.
They've had 28 managers in 20 years. So if I was their manager, 1 win in 9, I think I'd be expecting his P45 at some point.
What's that in comparison? What's how many managers have we had in that same time period?
Well, I don't think it'll be 20 years. It'll not be far short of that, mind. But when I was researching, there's only 2 managers since 2012 have been there, have been in charge longer than 1 year. So Gianfranco Zola was there from July 2012 till December 2013, and then Javi Garcia was there January 2018 till September 2019. Everybody else has not even lasted a full year. Now, if you're applying for a job with them when that job comes available, you've only got a short lifespan, haven't you? Do you me?
Do you want to know the thing? We've had 27 since then.
Oh,
but that's including caretakers. So Robbie Stockdale's like 3 of them.
I thought I just blew my stat out of the water there.
No, by the looks of it, Kevin Ball, Eric Black. There's been about Kevin Ball's done it a few times. Yeah, there's been a caretaker manager on about 8 and 9 of them occasions. So we're probably at 18 managers since 2000.
Still a lot, isn't it? Still one every year or so.
Yeah.
It's, you didn't realise, do you? I mean,
it's when you get like the spats of them, don't you? Like over the space of a few years, if you're not successful, it's like in and out. It's like no time at all, is it? How long did we have Dick Advocat for? You know what I mean?
But
we don't feel like we had him more than 10 minutes. Don't forget, inside that stat is Sam Allardyce.
Hadn't been for the FA, he'd have still been here and would have still been in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's it.
What answer for?
Yeah, you've got literally in a 3-year period: Gus Poyet, Dick Advocat, Sam Allardyce, David Moyes, Simon Grayson. In a like 4-year period, 4-5-year period.
David Moyes days have just been downhill from there, isn't
it?
Yeah. David Moyes, Grayson, Parkinson, Jack. Yeah.
I'm surprised we've never give Ball a chance, to be fair, the amount we've gone through managers.
Well, to be fair, the last time he was in charge was, I think we got relegated, and I think we drew with Man United on the last game of the season. I think that was when Niall Quinn took over as chairman, and Kevin Ball wanted the job. Well, that's when Niall Quinn did the job. He was manager for 2 or 3 games, and then Roy Keane got the job.
Yeah,
and I think Ball wanted the job then, but they didn't give him it, which it would have been nice to see, man, because he would have took no shit.
No. The reason that I ever wanted him as part of the club is the passion that he would have for the team. You know what I mean? He wants to win. He is Sunderland through and through. You know.
He'd have been a good one for Premier Passions, wouldn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he was in that, wasn't he? But as a player.
As a player. I was actually looking the other day. It was Bobby Saxton's 80th birthday or something, and they all got back together. Some of the old players, Reedy and all them. It was good to see. Yeah. They were all there. He still looks in fine form, man. Bobby Saxton, he still looks well. So he was good.
80's a young age these days, isn't it?
Well, so they say. So they say. But I mean, just a scary stat. Football management is might be well paid, but I imagine if you see that job coming, you think, should I put in for that or not?
It's ruthless. I've said this for a long time. It's a lot of managers need a chance. I know we're not fans of Moyes, but when he was recommended by Alex Ferguson after Alex Ferguson, and he had a bad season, and obviously that, history tells you the rest, but people forget that Alex Ferguson nearly got Man United relegated. He did terrible in his first few seasons.
He was 1 game from the sack, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Managers do not get a chance. If you don't impress in the first 6 months, 3 months to 6 months, you're out, you're gone.
Well, that's it. I mean, I was looking at them stats for the Watford managers, and some of them have got like a 40% win rate, and it's like the one is still not happy. Like, what do you want?
Well, Well, yeah, they want a manager who can do wonderful things with no budget. But, Peter Reid still needs a job. There you go. That's what he did.
I mean, the Luton manager just shows you that Luton manager who got Luton promoted last season, he was at Watford before he went to Luton. They only given him 10 games and they sacked him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fingers crossed Mowbray's a long-term decision.
I don't think Tony Mowbray has gone anywhere soon, is he? I think everybody at the moment loves him. I think even if we finish mid-table, I think Peter would still love him. I think he's just that type of manager.
Do you know what? I think it's the first time we've had a manager where the players like him, the fans like him, and I think the Sunderland actual board will like him because he generates income.
Yeah.
He could take a young player that you paid 300,000 for and turn him into a £10 million player.
Aye.
You know,
proven track record. So what's your score prediction for Wednesday? Are we going to do it? Are we going to get the Hawthorn back on track?
Yeah. We're going to win, but it's going to be fighting a defence like Cardiff, I think. So I am going to, in honour of my shirt here, I'm going to go 1-0.
So for the benefit of the audio listeners, what does that say?
It's Stoko. It's his quote of, "We had no fear. We never doubted we could win."
Oh, 73 Cup final quote. Love it.
Yeah. So that in honor of the shirt I'm wearing, I'm going to go 1-0 as my prediction. But I hope I'm vastly wrong and we score 10.
Well, I'm going to go a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to say we're going to continue from how we played on Friday, and I'm going to say 3-1. And I'm going to even go one further and say Mason Burstow will get his first goal.
I like it. Squad changes. Any?
I don't think he will. I think if everybody has come through Friday's game, I think it'll be the same team. There's been no mention of Ekwa being possibly fit, so I do think that it'll be the same side.
Do you not think he will? See, my only thoughts on it was the likes of Roberts and Pritchard for rest purposes. It's not been that long since Friday. Older players. Is he going to start Barr again? Because Barr's done really well and he started a few games. So is he going to constantly switch them around?
Well, I think Barr was unlucky to be dropped, to be fair. Yeah. And like you say, Roberts has just come back from hamstring, so he might switch it around and give Barr 60 minutes, give Roberts half an hour. So you could be right. But I think that the midfield kind of picks itself. If Ekwar's fit, then he might bring Ekwar in for Pritchard. I mean, he could even.
I think even if he's fit, you'd have to bring him off the bench, right?
I think so. I mean, the change that I would probably make, the only one I would make probably is Awashish for Pritchard, just to give Awashish a start, because I think every time he's come on, he looks good, he looks decent, and I think he would fit in to that Pritchard role quite well.
Yeah, if he does that, it would have to be on the promise of, here you go, as you start, you've got 45 minutes to impress.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we can't predict what he's going to do, but would you personally change anything? Are you happy with the starting lineup? Are you happy with that 4-1-4-1 that we've been doing?
Well, I'll probably get criticised for this, but Roberts for me, right? Roberts on his day is unplayable. But I just think so many times he overplays when he has a chance to put the ball in the box. Now, the only reason I'm going to criticise him tonight is because on Friday, I had a couple of quid on Jack Clark for to score a hat-trick at 100-1. Now, he scored 2 goals in the second half. Roberts had gone down the right-hand side. Jack Clark was free in the middle, just had to square it across, and he tried to beat 3 men and lost the ball. Well, the air turned blue, shall we say. But I just think at times Roberts, there's no doubt he's brilliant and he's got the talent, but I just think he tries to beat too many men.
Yeah. It's hard to judge when any team is 2 or 3 goals up, everyone's going for it. Nobody's going to begrudge anyone a shot at that stage. That's the problem.
That's it, innit?
So
that's it. But I mean, even Clark, I think when Clark went off on Friday, he had an ice pack around his leg, so I didn't know if he took a slight knock. I mean, there might be some of these players who were playing with injuries. I didn't know. I mean, Niall Huggins is another one. He's playing a lot of football for somebody who's just come back from injury. So, but who do you play there to give him a rest?
Yeah, that's the difficult thing. And does he start playing somebody in place of Jack now, so they get used to it, just in case the God forbid happens in January?
That's it. I mean, I'm guessing you could put Luke O'Neill at left back and then maybe play Sealed in there as well.
Yeah.
No, but we know Tony Mowbray now. He doesn't like making too many changes just for the sake of making changes. Me personally, I'd like to see us go two up front at home, but that'll not happen. But then again, who do you drop in the midfield area to play? If you drop Pritchard to play, say, Russian.
I'll stand by what I said with the Cardiff game. If it's like that and their backs against the wall, I'd put 3 at the back. That's where you get your extra man up front.
Aye.
So
I mean,
yeah,
you've got if you play 3 at the back, you've got the option then of taking Huggins off, and then even playing Clark as a wing back with Russian just in front. So
yeah.
There's loads of options, but I do think that you're right that it needs to be done earlier than
that's what I love about the whole transfer window thing. We have options, which we thought we were going to have none before the transfers all came through. And now we seem to be, the biggest problem is who do you drop half the time?
But we never thought we'd be saying that, did we? In at the start of the season, how do we drop to bring players in? I mean,
oh no, too many strikers.
So, just before we finish, then, if everybody's fit, the whole squad's fit, what would your starting lineup be?
I would start the same team. I wouldn't make any changes for the starting lineup if everyone's fit. Genuinely. But obviously my bench would change. I'd have Ekwar on the bench, things like that. The only change, actually, I'd tell a lie. The only change I would see, I think Burstow's had 2 or 3 starts now, and it's took him a while. We need to start somebody else there. Personally, Rusin, I know Hamir's probably in with a shout more, but personally, I'd give Rusin or someone like that a chance to start. Burstow coming for 45 minutes, the second half if you need to, but he's had 2 or 3 starts now. His confidence does look like it's starting to build, but he needs to come off the bench to get that confidence. He needs to, we need to be giving somebody else a chance up there.
Aye, I think you're right. I think the longer he goes without a goal, the more he puts pressure on himself. But I thought on Friday, he played very, very well. He was close to being my man of the match. He was bringing people into play. He looks like he's fitting into our style of play. But you're right. I mean, again, it's one of them where if you had somebody experienced up front with him, would bring him on a little bit more. Getting back to that experienced players who help the inexperienced players, which I'm guessing is what Dak will do on the training ground and that sort of stuff. So, I don't know. But I mean, when these players come back, you've got the likes of Matete, Corey Evans. Do you think they're going to get anywhere near the team when they're fit?
I don't know. If they're in the form they are now, then it's going to be difficult. But that's what I like. I like the fact that we've got players that can challenge for them positions. I rated Matete when we first got him. So to have him struggling to get into the team just says how well our team's doing and how good we actually are at the moment.
Shame now because he was looking good in pre-season. Matete, and now we were only playing, American teams, but he really, really looked as though he improved, and he's time on loan at Plymouth had brought him on a little bit.
Do we know how long he's out yet?
I think he's back training. I think he's about another month or 2 away from being back training. So probably, January is probably the time where we're going to get Matete back, where we're going to get Evans back. I think Alicia is maybe 4 or 5 weeks away. So we're going to have an even stronger squad come January. So and hopefully we didn't lose too many players. That's the thing, is you have a successful season and big teams come calling, but Ballard, another one, and he's just signed another 5-year contract, which will probably, if anybody does want to buy him, it'll cost them a fortune, right? Which is good for us. But all these young lads are all going to have big teams sniffing, even Ekwar, there'll be teams sniffing around them and all.
That's the only area I feel we're light on at the moment. Quality centre back. Because I think there's a lot of pressure on Ballard at the moment. I think he's the key to that defence at the moment.
Oh, without a doubt. I think if he gets injured, then I think we'll struggle.
And what we saw, is it Triantis? What we saw of him at the start didn't look too impressive. So,
I think Seeds will be the one who, if something did happen, they would probably put him in. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I suppose they've got to be given some chance at some point. But we'll have to wait and see. I suppose.
Last one as a prediction.
Go on.
Because I know at the start of the season we all predicted randomly like 13th, 14th, mid-table. Where do you see us finishing this season now that we're on this sort of run and we've got the squad we've got?
Well, based on what I've seen so far, if teams in the league, there isn't anybody apart from Leicester who I fear at all. Even Leicester have proved, they're going to lose. They will lose games this season. They got beat. I think they got beat at home off Hull or somebody. They got beat off a few weeks ago. So in this league, anybody can beat anybody. But from what I've seen, I'm going to say if we keep going on this run and we keep everybody fit and we keep everybody in January, we'll challenge for top 2.
Cool. Right.
What's your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree?
I said that at the start.
You did, yeah. I guess you did.
When you were all saying mid-table, I was saying automatic promotion this year. So that's what I think. I mean, nobody likes to come second. I'd like to see the trophy. It's been a while. I'd like to see us. Sorry, it's been a while for a league trophy. I'd like to see us lift one. So yeah, I think ask me again in 4 games time, because that's when we play Leicester. So that would be a big tell.
Yes, and we've got the derby. That's not a derby coming up, haven't we, on Saturday, Borough, which they call a derby, which we don't.
Bless them, they've got nobody else.
Yeah, we'll be previewing that and reviewing the Watford game on SAFC Fan TV live on Thursday night. So obviously tune in for that. But cheers, Mike. Been a pleasure as always. Final thoughts?
Let's keep this run going. How are the lads? And anyone that's listening on the podcast, don't forget to check us out on YouTube and on TikTok.
I like you, Stan. See you later.